have something that identifies themselves. I identify myself as a light-skinned woman with curly hair, and I'm independent and I'm strong. The person I'm going to be commemorating today identifies himself as John Muir, Earth, Planet, Universe. I have read several articles, I read a book, and I watched a documentary about John Muir, and I feel credible enough to be giving this speech to you guys. In this speech, I will first be discussing his turning point and what changed him to be the man we know today. Secondly, I will be discussing his personal and professional achievements. Thirdly, I will be discussing his legacy and how it has inspired me. So first I'm going to talk about his turning point, which basically almost made him blind. So one day in 1867, he was working in his shop, and a tool struck him in the eye, and he thought he was going to be blind because he damaged his cornea, and that's where light enters through the eye. And in an article by Glenn Atchuler, called A Citizen of the Community of Nature, he stated that John Muir would rather be dead than blind because he couldn't appreciate nature at all. And then what happened after he basically quit working, he moved to the United States, went to the University of Wisconsin, and he was doing that for a while until he quit and he began traveling. He didn't really have a place in mind when he was traveling. He went to places like Yosemite, the Grand Canyon, South America, Australia. Those are a few. Now that I've discussed his turning point and what occurred after the fact, now I'll be discussing his achievements, and yes. So, to be known as the world's famous, world-renowned conservationist, John Muir had to strive very hard for his goals to achieve them. So in 1892, the Sierra Club was formed in San Francisco, and their goal was to work alongside the government and help protect like nature and stuff. So the club helped what is now known as Yosemite. They wanted to reduce the lands, the state of California, but Muir and the club pushed for it to not be reduced in size, so now that's what Yosemite is, and that created the National Park Forest Service, and then he also ended up creating the Sequoia National Park. The Sierra Club still exists today. They have charters nationwide. They're international, they're globally trying to fight climate change and overpopulation. Now that I have discussed, just kidding. Muir was considered a naturalist because he loved nature so much. One day in 1903, John Muir and Teddy Roosevelt, president, they went to Yosemite and were on a camping trip together. They formed a very strong bond together that basically paved the way for conservationism. And A Fierce Green Fire, a movie that I watched, and it's directed by Mark Kitchell. Him and the Sierra Club basically stopped the Grand Canyon for having no river in it. They built one dam, but they stopped the building of a different dam by advertising it to the people and the strong advocacy from the club. And he also wrote a lot of books. He wrote The Yosemite, Our National Parks, and he also wrote A 1,000-Mile Journey that is coveted by a lot of people in the world, conservationists, all that type of stuff. Now that I've talked about his personal and professional achievements, I will next discuss how his legacy and how he's inspired me. So, Muir, we all want to leave a legacy behind that travels on in the future, and that's what Muir did with his work. He actually had a lot of things named after him, like the John Muir Trail, which goes a 211-mile long trail that goes to the Sierra Nevada mountains in California. He also had the Muir Woods National Monument Park built with the help of Theodore Roosevelt for him. that's in California, and he also has several schools, and he actually has a day, which is April 21st, that's dedicated to him. He, another thing that is, what inspires me about him is that he basically left his work and went traveling to see the world. He achieved his goals by working alongside the Sierra Club and other things, and also working with the government, which John Worcester in A Passion for Nature, The Life of John Muir, which is his book, he stated that John Muir really hated the government and just did it just to get stuff going and to have the government be responsible for public lands. In conclusion, today I have talked about John Muir's turning point and what changed him, his achievements, and his legacy. I hope that you guys take this in consideration, that you don't want to be a part of destroying Mother Earth. You want to be following in John Muir's footsteps and making it a better place. Thank you.